Since the Into the Dark season of Kill Team is wrapped up, the only thing we've seen has been Ashes of Faith, which I really enjoyed, but it wasn't part of one of the core Kill Team seasons. So what's going to be the future of Kill Team? Well, we do have a small teaser from the next expansion that actually tells us a decent amount. I'll be playing the clip here that came from one of the Warhammer Day previews. I believe they mentioned this is the planet that the Gallowdark actually landed on, but it's hard to see exactly what's going on. Looks like some kind of industrial area and maybe some waterfront. But we do get this little hint saying deploy infiltration units, and that Eldar life is detected. The way the lettering and everything looks, I'd say the first team will be some kind of Imperium team. The rumor mill right now is saying Space Marine Scouts. The only other thing we know is that this season will start fall of 2023, so we'll likely see it within the next couple months. So my quick thoughts on this set is conflicting. Honestly, the Eldar teams normally end up being pretty neat, but the Eldar already have the Corsairs, as well as an updated Drukhari and Harlequin team. Besides needing an update to the actual Craft World Eldar, the Eldar players already have gotten an update to whatever part of the Eldar lore you enjoy playing. Don't get me wrong, there are some amazing Eldar teams they can make, like Striking Scorpions or Warp Spiders. I just think there are other teams that need it more. For Space Marine Scouts or Infiltrators, I think both of those would be solid. I think we already basically know what it would look like. Basically like the Phobos team, where you have Compendium-ish stats with a lot of specialized models, like a Communications Die or a Medic. I think they eventually should update every Space Marine team that was in the Compendium, so getting an update here would be fine. There's just not a lot left to say about this until we get more previews. Now getting to what I hope we see coming this season, I think the number one mission of Kill Team should be modernizing Compendium teams. A good example is that my favorite Compendium team at launch was the Tyranids, playing Warriors and Gaunts. The model line for Tyranids had a refresh with 10th edition, so now would be an awesome time to update that team. They could even use some of the new Gaunt variations if they wanted to. They could make one team that's a couple warriors with a variety of different Gaunts, like the Termagants, and then have another team that's entirely Gene Stillers. There's a big list of teams here that haven't been updated that I've talked about before in other videos, so I'll throw it up on the screen here. But if you were something like a Grey Knight or a Death Guard player, there just hasn't been anything for you since launch. That is the number one complaint I hear about Kill Team at this point, is when players still have the same team from years ago, and they're still pretty vanilla. I think the coming year is a great chance to correct that. Now on the flip side, I realize if Games Workshop made every new set just reworks the Compendium teams, we wouldn't get anything awesome like the Adeptus Arbites or the Casterkin. Totally get that. I think the balance would be that each new set that comes out has at least one team that's Compendium, and then the other one they can do whatever they want. If they want to do a Compendium update, that's fine, or if they want to add in something new. Which honestly, that's basically what they did last year with Into the Dark. But where I'd like them to step it up is more updates outside of the major releases. This could be one or two Compendium teams getting an update between each major release. They were doing this frequently for a while, mostly in the White Dwarf magazine, but then they basically stopped. My guess is that all their time and effort was going towards 10th edition, but now that it's out, hopefully they can focus back on Kill Team again. I will say, I have zero idea if Kill Team has its own development team, or if members of that team are also part of the 10th edition design team. No clue, I just assume all the focus was on 40k for a while. The teams I'd most like to see get updated are a Deathwatch team, just because I just read Deathwatch and Deathwatch Shadowbreaker, and both of those were awesome. I really like kind of the vibe of that book with the special ops missions, so I really want to be able to play something more similar to that. And Kill Team is literally named after the Deathwatch, so they really deserve it. It's kind of criminal they haven't gotten an update yet. I already mentioned Tyranids, but I think Grey Knights would be my next option. Just because they have the Psyker powers, and they could get a lot of really neat powers with that update. So each model could have a lot of variety in what it could do. But really, as long as they do teams from that list I posted earlier, I'd be happy with it. I'd like to see the environments be more varied than last season. I think having that modular wall was a cool concept, but once you bought one or two, you probably didn't want any more. There's only so much of the same Space Hulk that you want to buy, paint, and store somewhere. I'd also like to see them step away from just doing Imperium terrain over and over. If we have a Death Star team, make everything look gross and decaying. Or if we did an Eldar team, let's have some Eldar fortifications and barricades that actually look Eldari. What they did with the Orc Commandos in the Altaria set was a really good example of what I'm talking about here, having that little Orc shantytown. I wanted to keep this pretty short, but those are the main things I'd like to see upcoming in Kill Team and what we know so far. Teams that have loyal fan bases that really need an update, I hope actually get them. Even if it's just from an online update, and there's not actually new models. And I'd like to see more varied battlefield, so it's not just the same thing over and over, or all be Imperium. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see for next season. Thank you for watching.